Last time on our Southern California overland adventure.
Okay, legit, it's getting really dark. I don't want to go.
Well, good morning from the Mojave Desert. Got a beautiful morning this morning. It's super still, no wind. The temperatures are absolutely perfect. I'm sure it's going to get really hot again. It was yesterday, but right now with the sun having just come up, it feels great. Got another full day on the Mojave Road today, so we're looking forward to that. A few more cool things I've been looking forward to seeing that we should see today. The desert so far has been so much fun. It's been absolutely spectacular. The driving was great yesterday. Hopefully it's more of that today, and we'll see what we see out on the trail. All right, so we got camp broken down. We made a quick trip back to the highway to part ways with Derek, Dylan, and Addie. And so they're heading back home. And so 4 vehicles becomes 3. And we are now on our way to lava tubes, which is supposed to be super cool. Been excited for this for a while. So we're just on the hike up to the lava tubes. We're gonna check that out before we resume the Mojave Road for the rest of the day.
All right, so currently we're inside a lava tube. Jeff's down there. And for the second time in a row, we forgot headlamps or flashlight or some sort of light source. I'm afraid of the dark, so I'm probably not gonna go more than a foot in. I don't believe you.
Oh, we're down in the lava tubes. I guess the best way I could describe this is it's the most Indiana Jones thing I've ever seen in real life. It's super cool. You come down, you have to squeeze through a narrow passage, and then it opens up and you've got this one massive rail light coming in from these holes up above. And yeah, that's super cool. Definitely worth the stop. Even down a horribly washboarded road, still definitely worth the stop. And I'm proud of Christine because she came down here. She didn't want to come down here. She doesn't like dark, but she came down and got to see it. So that's super cool too. After the highway detour to start the morning and our side trip to check out the lava tubes, we needed to put our heads down and make some miles. Thankfully, the Mojave Road didn't disappoint, and for the next few hours, we found ourselves driving past increasingly abundant numbers of Joshua trees, their twisted branches and spiky leaves seemingly straight out of a Dr. Seuss book. All right, so we made it to the Mojave Road mailbox. We've got some of our stickers, and I think we should put them inside the mailbox. What do you think? If anybody wants a sticker, if you happen to be watching this video, check inside the mailbox and they'll be there for as long as they're there. And then let's bust out the book here. All right, what do we got? Is there a pen in here? There's a koozie, some sunscreen, that could come in handy. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, some hot sauce in there, some sunglasses. There's a bunch of good stuff in here. All right, we're this third person to sign for the 8th. This mailbox is an iconic part of the Mojave Road. Since 1983, it has served as a way for travelers to document their passage and leave behind items that the next person to come along may be in desperate need of. And because things get weird in the desert, there's a frog shrine here too, just because. Back on the Mojave Road, we soon encountered a seemingly never-ending section of whoops. And if you want to know what whoops feel like, well, this just about sums it up. After many, many more minutes of this, I asked the group a question about which road surface is the most worst of them all. Okay, let's rank them in order of your least favorite to favorite, or worst to least worst. Whoops, corrugated roads, and potholes.
Washboards are the worst, and then I think the whoopsies, and then potholes.
I agree on corrugated roads. Those are the worst. Washboard roads are terrible. All my falls apart. I would say potholes actually to me are worse. Potholes are worse than this, at least right now. Don't ask me in an hour.
How was Jeff? It's okay.
Eventually, the whoops relented, and we pulled off the Mojave Road to find a suitable campsite. Climbing an elevation, the road became rougher, the landscape greener, and before we knew it, we were surrounded by trees. A welcome sight after 2 days in the desert. Okay, so we found our camp for night 2 along the Mojave Road, and we are at the hilariously named Camp Phalus, which I'll leave you to figure out why it's called Camp Phalus. But it's really amazing. It's a stark contrast to everything else we've seen in the Mojave. We gained elevation. I think we're at about 5,500 feet right now. We're deep into the trees, which is great because the next couple days are supposed to be really windy, and so finding a campsite that is sheltered and tucked in is going to be awesome. Plus it's just cooler up here. Last night and yesterday was really, really warm, so probably dropped about 10 or 15 degrees already. And so we're just going to relax again for the night. We've got one more day to finish up the Mojave Road tomorrow, and then we're on to the final part of our trip. Well, my friends, you may be wondering, what's for dinner? And when you're camped at a camp with the name Camp Phalus, there's only one thing that you can make for dinner. Looks like it's going to be a windy morning at camp. Hey, I know what you're thinking, but don't judge, all right? It's cold out this morning.
All right, I think we're on day 7. We're heading out of camp. We're gonna get back on the Mojave Road. This campsite was nice and large. It was shaded, which we were really thankful for, because at about 3 o'clock in the morning, the wind was just going like crazy. And it didn't really let up until about now. I think it's about 7:30. So we're heading out much earlier than we usually do. So super excited to see what the rest of the Mojave Road has to offer.
Christine, where are we?
We're at the penny can tree.
We're at the penny can tree. So we're back on the Mojave Road after breaking down camp pretty early because got to put our penny in the tree and probably hang out here for a few minutes and then head east. And we should be wrapping up the Mojave Road probably within the next few hours, maybe. You know, one thing that surprised me about this route is how good a pace you can generally keep. There's a few sections that are a little slower, there's some whoops and things like that, but a lot of times I find that we're, you know, keeping a pretty steady pace of maybe 15-20 miles an hour, so we're making really good time through the trail. But it's been great because it means we've had a lot of time to come and hang out and enjoy stuff like this and see some of the sights along the way instead of just trying to power through. So yeah, our last day on the Mojave Road, we'll see how it goes. You got your penny?
Yep.
All right. For safe travels along the Mojave Road and maybe a little less wind. After 3 incredible days in the Mojave Desert, a final steep, rocky descent marked the abrupt end of our time on the Mojave Road. And that night, with spirits high, we celebrated the completion of this bucket list route the best way we knew how. We are currently driving through a legit sandstorm in Death Valley. Death Valley is proving to be temperamental.
Honestly, even if we end up camping in a parking lot somewhere, it'll be better than this.
All that is coming up on the next episode of our SoCal Overland adventure. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing.